Welcome to Real Possibilities. Today we've got a unique program. We're going to talk about a bilingual education degree, plus a lot of other very interesting topics. I am so excited to have both of you here today to talk about a program that has become so near and dear to my own heart, and that's Casa Latina. Dr. Healy, thank you. Carlos Sanchez, thank you for being with us today. We're going to go by first names because full transparency, I'm on the Davenport board, but that's not why they're here. They're here because this program is awesome and it relates to just about anybody who's interested in getting a degree in their language, in Spanish. So let's first talk about you. Dr. I want to keep calling you by your first name, but is that okay, Hilda? Is that okay? All right, Hilda, and you call me Paula as well. Tell us how you got involved with this and why the need for this Casa Latina program, and what is Casa Latina?
Thank you so much for having us here.
Absolutely.
It's such a pleasure to have this conversation. Casa Latina started as Davenport University's need to contribute to the state as a whole. Mm-hmm. So you know that the state has goals regarding education, mm-hmm. regarding growth mm-hmm. of the population, and the achievement of the whole, mm-hmm. and finally closing the talent gap. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to create something bold and innovative to help the state, and that is how Casa Latina was born. It is a need, it is unique, and it's going to be fully online, and Carlos is going to be awesome at telling you a bit more about what Casa Latina will do for us.
Carlos?
Thank you. Same thing. Well, Casa Latina is like Hilda said, out of the need of educating a population that usually has challenges access in higher education.
And
right?
that population is Hispanic Latino population.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. Yes. So what we are going to do is we're going to respond to those needs by creating an environment mm-hmm. that is bilingual, by teaching, by delivering education in 2 languages, in English and Spanish, in 12 programs at the undergraduate level, graduate level, in 1 certificate at the graduate level, of course. So 12 programs, again, they're going to be taught mm-hmm. in a bilingual format, fully online, so people can access education at their own pace and in the language that they feel more comfortable.
So you say it's completely online. Will they go through as a cohort or individually? Will they? When's the first class coming on board? Talk with us a little bit about that.
Sure. The classes are set to launch in the fall of 2024, so in a few months now. It is what we call it in higher ed asynchronous, mm-hmm. so people can log in at any time they want. And yes, they're going to be in individuals, accessing again from home, from office, from wherever they feel comfortable, wherever they can.
And why is this important? I mean, for having the program a bilingual program, so they'll be in both Spanish and in English. Why is it important to do that?
So, when you learn a second language, you usually have a level of vocabulary mm-hmm. that you acquire. You know how to say table or windows mm-hmm. or flags right. or things like that, right? When you want to translate that into your profession, things become a little mm-hmm. bit different, mm-hmm. right? So when you go to college and you decide to study accountancy, you start learning the language mm-hmm. of accountancy, right? Mm-hmm. The discourse, mm-hmm. so assets and liabilities and mm-hmm. balance sheets, right? Mm-hmm. You need to learn that also in Spanish if you're going to be a professionally proficient bilingual person. And it doesn't happen by default.
Right.
You need to create an environment mm-hmm. where this happens. And I wanted to mention that dual language methodology is not new, mm-hmm. right? It's something that the K-12 system has done for decades. Mm-hmm. It is new in higher education, and that is why we're so proud to bring that uniqueness to the people of Michigan. They would be able to become professionally proficiency mm-hmm. in both languages in their careers. So they will learn accounting, they will learn marketing, mm-hmm. they will learn management, health and human services, technology project management.
Wow.
There's so many programs that we are going to be offering, and at this time we are already enrolling students so they can log into our website and they will be on their way to the next step in their careers.
You know, this is so exciting. I remember my grandson was in elementary school and he was in a Chinese immersion program, and half the class was in Chinese and half the class was in English. So you're right, this is not something new, but the way that you are doing it makes it more accessible and easy access, and getting students into a program that's, like you said, asynchronous, where they can go anytime, any place, anywhere, which is really wonderful because everyone's busy working, et cetera. But this also has an impact on the business community, and so many businesses that have employees that they'd like to see advance or advance their career, professional growth development. Talk a little bit about what this does for the business community as well.
Sure. One thing, by the way, this we mentioned this is Casa Latina is centered on the Latino community, but that does not mean that individuals that have gone through an immersion school, a Spanish immersion school, that usually are non-Latino, cannot access Casa Latina, right? So they've gone through from kindergarten all the way to high school. They can come to Casa Latina also. So it's a bilingual initiative, not just a Hispanic initiative. That is also important to notice. It is important for the business community because, as you say, sometimes they might have a leader. They might have leaders in the potential leaders, let's say, right, in their midst, that because they cannot, they don't have a college degree or a master's degree because of their language, they cannot move up in the corporate ladder, right? So as Hila was mentioning, in trying to fight the talent gap, trying to find talent, sometimes the talent is already existing, is within them, right? So what better place to look for that talent than from within? That is why it's important.
And will those who, like, let's say you have XYZ Corporation and they have 20 employees that they'd like to take this, be involved with Casa Latina, would they sign up individually, or is there a corporate training program? How does that work?
Well, they can do both.
I know Davenport does anything that you want.
Correct, correct. Yeah, exactly.
Very
so,
innovative.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so we've been talking to some corporations, right, that if they can find, let's say, 20 people, we can have one of our staff members, one of our professors, going to that corporation and have they will still log in and take the lessons online, right? But it could be in a form of a cohort in the same room, guided by one of the professors, so they feel a little more comfortable. The sessions the courses are going to be taught in English and Spanish, 1 week in English, 1 week in Spanish. Right. So having developing a cohort style of learning could help them one another, right? Because most likely within the cohort they will have different levels of understanding of both of English and Spanish.
And that's a good point that you make too, is that it's not just for Hispanic Latino community, but anyone who has some Spanish background. We've got a person here who speaks Spanish very fluently. And so if she wanted to get a degree in bilingual language, or advanced degree, she could take this program as well, which is a nice distinction. You don't find that everywhere. So when you talk about 1 week in Spanish, 1 week in English, the first thing as a former educator, I think, how did you find the staff, the faculty who was able to do that? That's got to be tough. So talk a little bit about the faculty who'll be teaching the program and what their expertise.
Sure. Well, the benefit of having an online program is that our faculty does not have to be located within the city that has been taught. In this case, let's say Greater Grand Rapids or in the state of Michigan, right? As a matter of fact, our instructional designers, our subject matter experts that are transforming the courses, they are in Florida, they are in the Canary Islands, they are all over the U.S. and abroad. So in this, so we are seeking subject matter experts in the to help us transform each of the courses of each of the programs, and we hope and we will attempt to them also to become faculty to teach those classes. What we have found is that most of the SMEs, the subject matter experts, are very interested. They're very they're bought into the process, right? So they also want to see how it's going to work at the end of it. So, but then again, we have, I don't know, close to 200 courses that need to be transformed in due time. So, so we also need subject matter experts.
So if
to
you're
help us in
listening,
that.
right?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's very impressive. I mean, extremely impressive, because we know that it's hard to find faculty, but that's the benefit of online and virtual learning. You can go anywhere in the world and find the
Correct.
expertise that's needed. Talk, and I know that you have not only been involved with Casa Latina, but as the provost of Davenport, urban education, all sorts of wonderful, innovative, creative things. And just again, I want to say that, you know, I grew up in education, so to speak, as an adult. But what the work that Davenport is doing is some of the most innovative work I've seen anywhere in the country, anywhere at all. And you have led a lot of that. So you've got other programs besides Casa Latina. You've got Urban Education Program, which is another premier program that you're doing in Grand Rapids with the Grand Rapids Schools District. Talk a little bit about that.
So there is a teacher shortage in the United States. There's a teacher shortage in Michigan, in any of the cities. Basically, it is hard to find individuals that are willing to take on the challenges of teaching. And teaching is challenging. It's not necessarily easy, but it's so rewarding,
It is,
right? At the end
absolutely.
of the day, it's so rewarding. So what we have created is an urban education program. This means that it recognizes the challenges of an urban setting when you are teaching. And that includes resources, you know, where to find resources when your school might not have them, right? There's community resources there. It means to, it also means that it's important to address the challenges that the kids bring to the table. So food insecurity is one challenge. Conduct challenges. You have to deal with them in a different way, in a culturally responsive teaching way. Meaning, I am recognizing your differences, I am accepting them, I am respecting them, and I'm going to work with them to get you to the next step. So this is a beautiful program. If you are in that point in your career where you really want to make a difference in your life. And we have a lot of our students are actually career changes. They are retired, but they're still young and they still want to give back to the community. And this is, you know, they are engineers that can teach great math and science classes, right? And they go to these classrooms with not only a life of experiences now, but with the tools to make sure those kids are successful.
Well, kudos to you and to your entire team for recognizing those differences. That it's not a cookie cutter approach to education, that people learn differently. I'm a visual learner, you know, I read the directions after I've tried to put it all together. It's lopsided, then I go read the directions to figure out.
This way.
Yeah, right, exactly. So people learn differently in all of this. So really, kudos to you and your entire team. I applaud you all for understanding those differences and working with the Grand Rapids School District. They've been great partners in this as well to help educate and learn in what urban education really means and how you can make a difference in urban education.
And one of the programs of Casa Latina is going to be in urban education.
Oh, fantastic.
Right? Both at the undergraduate and graduate level. So all those bilingual individuals that would like to get into that field but would like to experience the dual language methodology will have something for them too.
That's excellent. It's Sadie, you've met with Sadie in our office. She's bilingual, so I don't want her to hear this part of the program because I think she might want to get involved. And you had a story today, even on your drive here to Lansing, when you stopped at a restaurant in town. Talk about that interaction that you had.
So yeah, I went to this fabulous Cuban restaurant down here from AARP, and I just engaged with the waitress, and she said, I got my papers recently. I asked her, "Are you studying?" And she said, "No, I'm not yet. Do you want to?" "Oh yeah, this is something that I want to do." So I told her, you know, there's this opportunity. She lit up. She was like, "Oh, so that means I would be able to advance my English and your Spanish, right?" Because the idea is that we always need to improve, right? And this
Absolutely.
methodology, and Paula, one of the interesting things about the methodology is that in every class we ensure that we incorporate the 4 language arts. So there's going to be some writing, some reading, some speaking, and some listening in both languages, right? That's why we go back and forth. We build on whatever you did last week. We're not repeating content. We build whatever we did last week and then on to the next week. So last week we talked about, I like to say, the 4 P's of marketing, right? But then this week the example is, okay, now go out there, get examples, and come and explain in the other languages how those 4 P's work,
I
right?
love it.
Or don't work.
Right.
What would you do better? So it's hands-on. It's very, very hands-on. It's comprehensive. It is paced, right? It's rigorous, and it's going to be super exciting for the students.
Absolutely, it's the highest quality because you're always measuring. I mean, we're the only higher education institution in the state who's won the Malcolm Baldrige Award.
That is
the only
correct.
one. So you're not just throwing programs out there to be throwing them like a production or manufacturing line. You want the quality there, and you also do a phenomenal job of making certain employers like the students that they hire from Davenport. So you survey them all the time to see if they're learning, and then the guarantees that you have for some of the programs as well. Talk a little bit about those. So then students graduate for some of the programs. There's a guarantee.
So one of the things that we have in all of our programs is a required internship or project at the end.
For all
It's a
of them.
capstone. All of our programs, in all of our levels. This is super important to demonstrate actually the knowledge of the last 2, 3, 4 years, whatever they have spent in doing the program. This also helps us place students into job environments where they can thrive, right? They recognize what they like,
Right.
they recognize what they don't like, they know what they want to do. We have an excellent career services office that actually offers services for life, right? So even if in 10 years from now, if you're a graduate from Davenport, you decide to change careers, you can come back. We will help you with your resume. We will help you with mock interviews. We will help you with the networking. We will be there for you forever once
Wow.
you are an alumni. So doing these internships allows us to have the students everywhere and to give them the opportunities that they need to put all of their knowledge into practice. Our placement rate is very high. It's over 96% of our students actually get a job, right?
96% of the
Yep.
students who graduate from Davenport get a job
So
in their field. Yeah, right.
Right. So we have actually 11 programs, 10 programs right now that we have an employment guarantee. So if you graduate from us from a bachelor's, accounting is, for example, one of them. If you don't find a job in 6 months in your field, you can come back and do the master's for free.
Yeah.
And so far, no one has because
And
we have
that's
a
and it's
96%
important to
rate.
mention that because of the quality. Again, sometimes you think these are these organizations that just keep rolling out programs just to meet a need, but you're measuring them, you're making certain the students graduate in their field, and that the people that are hiring them are satisfied. So it's an important distinction. And why this is so important for AARP as well is because we have a program called Comebackers for people who have left, who did not get a degree, maybe they dropped out of college, because of whatever reason, financial reasons, and they want to come back now. So we're working with the state to give them resources on how to get back into education. This is a program that they could come back and get another degree or continue their degree. We have a program called Experience for Hire, which is older adults, experience. You want to hire older adults. It's not always just about young people. So all this ties in very nicely together, right? The work that you're doing with Casa Latina, Urban Education, AARP Comebackers, and Experience for Hire. This program will help us to bridge that education gap that exists. And one of our founders, Ethel Percy Andrews, Dr. Andrews said 65 years ago that what you do for all. And that's the part that touches my heart because it's not just for certain people, but it's for all, to make certain that the Hispanic Latino community, the older community, whomever has access to quality education and programs. Tell us again, and I know they can go to the website, but what are the specific programs connected to Casa Latina that people can, is there 12 of them or?
12 programs.
12 programs,
Correct. So most of the undergraduate are in the business school. So we have the bachelor's in accounting.
I won't be taking that one. Go ahead.
Human resource management, business, urban education, project management. How many have?
Project management.
Yeah, project
Wow.
management. Correct, project management, and the masters in also urban education, HR management, business, and marketing and accounting.
You passed.
Yes.
I didn't count, but I know it was close.
Yeah, and the certificate in the graduate level certificate in urban education with the concentration, in STEM.
In STEM.
STEM, correct.
Oh,
yes,
excellent.
that is important. yes.
Excellent. So what do people need to do to get involved? They can go to the website that's on the screen, but what do they just go to that website, then what happens? What's the next step? They register right on the website?
They can apply immediately, or they can connect with one of the Casa Latina representatives if they have more questions. If they have, sometimes again, because individuals might find that they feel that their English is not good enough, right? We have bilingual representatives that can assist them. So they can call us, they can email. We also have a text, etc. So don't. I will tell them, don't let your perceived lack of English or lack of Spanish, in this case, detract you from applying, or at least asking questions.
Those are the
about
students
program.
you want. Those are the people that you
Absolutely,
want. The ones
exactly.
who are a little
Exactly.
fearful,
Absolutely.
who don't think they belong in a certain area,
Correct.
or they don't want to go to a traditional classroom because they're not certain that those are exactly who you want. So if you're afraid, young, old, whatever your age is, contact that
Exactly.
that website and talk to an advisor or someone. We've got about a minute left. So tell us whatever you'd like for the audience to know in the time that we have left. We're all passionate about this program. You could tell that. We're just excited. I'm excited for you.
So we decided that our slogan for this is dare to succeed in 2 languages, right? Atrévete a triunfar en 2 idiomas. And this is that would be my message. Take the step, dare,
Take the
because
step.
you will not be alone. We will be there to
I
help.
like it. I like it. We'll be there to help you. Thank you so much for all the help that you've given to so many hundreds of people. Appreciate you being here today to help us understand Casa Latina and Davenport University. Thanks for being here.
Thank you
for
very
having
much.
us. Yeah.
Chris, thank you for being here with us. You know, people, young people, middle-aged people, older adults, at what age should people start looking at a financial advisor?
Well, financial planning is important for all ages as you're starting to accumulate wealth, but really working with another professional, a financial planner, a certified financial planner, really as you're moving from the accumulation stage of life where you're accumulating your wealth, you're saving, really what we focus more on is on the preservation and distribution side. So we're really working more with clients who are near retirement age as they're looking at moving money out of their 401ks over into IRAs and trying to figure out how best to create that income stream in retirement. That's really what our focus is on. That said, financial planning is important, and there's other financial advisors that help with other areas, including savings or college planning.
And so is there any such thing as being too young to talk to a financial advisor?
Well, I wouldn't say too young, but you have to have a certain level of income or assets because we aren't nonprofits. We have to get paid somehow. So really it's more of just once you start to have something that you value, figuring out ways to best plan for that moving forward.
And at some point, we'd like to talk about why you needed a financial advisor. So maybe our next segment, we can do that.
Yeah, that sounds great. And yeah, there's a lot of questions that we can answer for our clients. Like, for example, today I was talking to some clients and we're talking about whether they should sell their home down in North Carolina, should they rent it out, and how that'll fit into their retirement.
Sounds good. And those are all things that you may or may not be able to decide on your own, but it certainly helps to have a financial advisor there to kind of guide you through what the tax implications are of some of those decisions, correct?
Right, yeah, it's always good to bounce ideas off of an expert and really work in partnership.
Thanks for being that expert for us today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Courtney Calkins. I'm a PA that works at Great Lakes Center of Rheumatology. Today we'll be talking about vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D is a vitamin that provides many important functions in the body. The most important is that it allows calcium and phosphate to remain in the body, which helps prevent osteoporosis and promote good bone health. It also helps muscle and immune function. 3 common reasons why vitamin D deficiency happens is number 1, it's not included in your diet enough. Number 2, it's being absorbed improperly through the intestines. And number 3, it is not being processed well due secondary to liver or kidney disease. The recommended average dose of vitamin D remains around 600 to 800 international units, but this varies based off your past medical history as well as your baseline screening. Common reasons or diseases that vitamin D deficiency can happen is 1, celiac disease, cystic fibrosis, Crohn's disease. Also, we see it very commonly in post-bariatric patients. Vitamin D, there is a screening bloodline test for it. Again, if your primary care feels that it's necessary to screen it based off your past medical history, they will run that blood test. Ways to absorb or increase your vitamin D is number 1, through the diet. Common reasons or common places to get it is orange juice, milk, canned tuna, a bunch of other options, but those are going to be your most common foods. Also increasing or taking a daily supplement, capsules, pills, whatever you prefer, or a prescription through a provider. There is also technically the sun, but we do not recommend this due to the increased chances of skin cancer. Please contact your provider if you have any further questions about this.
Driving and giving up driving, if you've been independent all of your life, is very, very difficult. Thank you for being here to talk about modes of transportation. So tell us a little bit about how to make a decision about whether or not someone should be giving up driving, or a loved one in particular.
That conversation is a very difficult conversation to have. I've had it with my own mother, and she is still driving and almost 90. But oftentimes we find that in a third-party trusted person is the best one to have that conversation with your loved one, such as a physician. And a lot of that can be dependent on how the driver is able to actually conduct the driving experience. The thing about CATA is that we don't want to take away the access to freedom and independence, and so that's what we provide. We remove that barrier and allow the driver to continue to have access to services, go to medical appointments, visit with family and friends, so that that quality of life continues to be available to them.
And that's so important. And it's not about going to a bus stop and getting on a CATA bus. There are other options for people that are a bit more private, and they should explore those options.
That's correct. We do have several demand response, curb-to-curb services that are scheduled in advance for drivers to take advantage of.
And do people need to qualify in order to take advantage of those, or if you just call, or what's the process?
For SpecTran, they would need to qualify, and there is an application process to that, and that application is available at cata.org/SpecTran. It is reviewed by an independent third party, and that is Disability Network, Capital Area.
Good organization, yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. No matter what your degree's in, no matter where you are in life, you can always continue your education. You can always learn more. Thanks for watching Real Possibilities.